on this book, she talks about Western civilization. She talks about the overall theme of Western civilization, and what she sees as that Western civilization is out of touch with nature. That Western civilization's culture is at war with nature. And so, if you look at the way that we live life, many people on TikTok, YouTube, they make videos about their 9 to 5, their jobs, raising kids, families, relationships, money, healthcare, all areas of human activity, right? She says that the reason why all of these problems exist is because Western civilization is out of touch with nature. And also, she goes into symbols, sports, um, firearms. She goes into myths and ideas that help shape collectively how we relate to one another in Western civilization. So she talks about the Adam and Eve parable, and she goes into the Adam and Eve parable, and she talks about how Adam and Eve felt alienated after eating from the fruit and obtaining enlightenment. Now, from her perspective, she forms it as though Adam and Eve um, had intercourse, and as a result, they were enlightened, and when they seen themselves, they rejected what they saw. Okay, she goes into the Tarzan myth. She goes into the story of King Kong. She goes into the stories about Planet of the Apes. She relates it to feminism and the underlying theme and racial undertones that these films and um, media has. And then she goes into talking about sexuality and the implications of why people engage in the things that they engage in, right? And how it's connected to how we relate to the world. She goes into speaking about the firearms and firearms, Christianity and the cross. She talks about the formulation of the religion, the Eucharist, or the sacrament. What does that really represent? What does the cross really represent, right? She views the cross, the gun, the planes, the bombs, the cigarettes, the cigars, even the ball games, baseball, basketball, golf, as all representations of male genitalia symbols, right? And she goes into stating how people, wear firearms. Police officers wear firearms on their hips. The pulling back of the firearm to pull the trigger, the bullets in the gun representing um male fluid, right? The sperm cells. And she goes into saying that why the gun exists, and although that in the world millions of people, well, let's say hundreds of thousands, but by this time we probably could say millions if we count all of the wars. Hundreds of thousands of people have fell victim to gun violence, yet guns are legal.